The first time Kalira saw the human, she was crouched in the ruins of an abandoned outpost, her arm pulsing with pain, her eyes sharp and wild like a predator cornered. Her skin shimmered like silver under the twin suns, and her armor, cracked and scorched, still held the pride of her warrior blood. She had been hunted by drones sent by the Galactic Council, accused of rebellion, for protecting her people from extinction. She was not one to beg or trust. She had killed before. She would kill again. Then came the human. He was alone. No armor, no weapon in his hand, only a small pack slung over his shoulder and a calm look in his eyes. He stepped into the broken shelter slowly, not raising his voice, not pointing a blaster, not wearing fear on his face. "You are bleeding," he said simply. Kalira snarled low in her throat, her hand tightening on the blade at her side. "Leave!" She hissed, her voice a growl from deep within. "I do not need you." The human did not flinch. He walked a few steps closer and knelt, placing his pack down before him like a peace offering. "I am not here to fight," he said. "I saw the smoke. I thought someone might need help." "I need no one." Kalira snapped, her eyes narrowed. Yet even as she spoke, her vision blurred and her breath came short. The wound in her arm burned hotter, now the infection spreading beneath her skin like fire. He must have seen the tremor in her stance, the way her body sagged just slightly to one side. "I am a medic," he said quietly. "Let me help." Silence stretched between them, filled only by the hum of wind and the chirps of distant insects. Then without a word, she turned her head away, her hand falling from the blade. It was not trust, but exhaustion that let her relent. She had nowhere else to go. He moved gently, his hands sure and clean. From his pack, he drew a vial of clear liquid and a soft cloth soaked in an earthy smell she did not recognize. She winced when he touched the wound, but she did not cry out. She was a warrior. Pain was her brother. But his hands were different. There was no power in them, no dominance, only care, only kindness. As he worked, he spoke to fill the silence. "My name is Jonah," he said. "I used to be a field doctor during the war. I stopped when I saw too much blood." He looked up, meeting her wary eyes. "But I could never stop helping people." Kalira said nothing but watched him. His voice was soft, not weak. She had heard many voices on many battlefields, some full of rage, some thick with fear. Jonah's voice had no fear, only warmth. It confused her. Days passed. She remained in the outpost, too weak to travel. Jonah stayed too. He cleaned her wound every morning and brought wild fruits and roots he foraged nearby. He cooked over a small fire using metal scraps, as pans humming tunes she did not recognize. They barely spoke. She listened. He healed. One morning she awoke from fever to find his hand on her forehead, his brow furrowed with concern. "You scared me," he said. "I thought you were slipping away." She blinked at him, the fire in her body slowly dying, the fever receding. In that moment something in her chest shifted. It was not love, not yet, but it was trust. A seed of it, small and fragile, but growing. By the 5th day, she sat outside beside him, her armor off, her hair loose falling around her sharp features. She watched him slice a root with a dull knife, his movements precise and patient. "You are strange for a human," she said at last. He smiled, his eyes lighting up. "Strange good or strange bad?" "Strange quiet," she replied. "You do not want power. You do not fear me. Why?" He looked at her, then not as a threat, not as an alien, but as someone simply alive. "Because I believe not everyone is meant to fight," he said. "Some of us are meant to heal." She looked away, unsure what to make of his words. No one had ever said something like that to her. In her world, strength was everything. To show weakness was to invite death. But he had seen her weak, and still he had stayed. That night she dreamed of her home planet, of her mother's voice, of simpler times before war and loss turned her heart to stone. Jonah had brought something more than medicine. He had brought peace. On the seventh day, she laughed. It was sudden and strange, a sound rough from lack of use. Jonah had made a joke. Something about him mistaking an alien mushroom for a fruit. He had taken one bite and turned blue for an hour. She had not meant to laugh, but it came out her like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Jonah stared in surprise and joined her in laughter as joy as genuine as hers. "You look different when you smile," he said. "Less warrior, more kitten." She raised an eyebrow. "Kitten? It's a small creature on earth," he explained, "fierce when threatened but soft when loved." She tilted her head. "You think I am soft?" "No," he said, "but I think you are more than your armor." She did not answer, but her smile lingered. On the ninth day, they heard ships. Distant at first, then growing louder engines roaring through the sky. Drones. They had found her. Kalira stood armor-back on blade in hand, eyes hard once more. "Go," she told Jonah. "They will kill you if they find you with me." He looked at her, then shook his head. "I will not leave you." "You are a fool," she said. "Maybe," he replied, "but I am your fool now." She stared at him hard, caught in a place between fear and awe. Then, without a word, she took his hand and pulled him into the trees. They ran together through the forest, Jonah, following her lead as she moved with silent grace. Behind them, the drones landed searchlights, slicing the night. They hid beneath roots within caves across streams, Kalira guiding them with strength Jonah never questioned. By morning, the skies were quiet again. They had escaped, and something had changed. She sat by the river, washing her hands, and looked at him. "You stayed," she said. "Of course," he replied. "I have seen galaxies burn," she whispered. "I have seen love used as a weapon. But you," she hesitated, "you healed me." Jonah sat beside her, his shoulder brushing hers. "And you changed me," he said. "I never believed the fiercest heart could be the gentlest too." She turned her eyes to the water, watching her reflection ripple beside his. She did not see a warrior alone in pain. She saw a survivor sitting beside a man who saw her as something more. That night she kissed him, not with fire, not with desperation, but with softness, with gratitude, with wonder. The fierce alien girl who once roared and fought and bled now curled beside the man who healed her as quiet as the stars above.